Hello, this is Andrew with FADOX here at the Morales residence. It's a hail and wind claim. I looked over the insurer's estimate and saw that they're providing coverage for carport, turtle vent, and chimney flashing, although that seems to be brand new. I'm unsure if that small vent over there has been covered, but let's take a look at some of these damages that I was able to identify. So this has been covered, hail damage there, easy to see. Found a lot of hail damages to the shingle. Of course, identifying hail damage is a subjective art, right? I think one standard that Hague has established is bruised matting. So if the shingle has a bit of give to it when we try to press on it, it's a clear indicator that, you know, the shingle has been bruised from impact, not just a simple blistering, right? One thing I want you to notice here is this appears to be a new vent. All these shingles around were creased during the installation, an indicator that shingle is too brittle to be repaired. Also notice these fasteners nailed into the shingle underneath. So if we were to replace this shingle is going to have some fastener rips coming out of it. When you remove a fastener, especially if it's caulked, you're going to rip that shingle underneath. It's not going to be the same condition it was before the loss. Another thing that I want to bring to your attention. This is an addition on the back here, this dormer. And you can see where the new shingle meets the old shingle. Tons of mechanical damage. Right here. Right here. See, we go 2 layers down to put that new shingle in. Really clear as day right here on the ridge, all the way down. Excuse me. Okay. Pretty much solidifies it. The shingle is too brittle to be repaired. All right. Again, just like that other vent we looked at, this turtle vent is nailed to the shingles underneath. So when we replace this, it's already been covered. We're going to remove these fasteners and we're going to have to pull it out. You see there's some silicone on top, just like over on that other vent as well. So when we remove these fasteners, this shingle underneath is going to have holes in it. You can put the new turtle vent here, put some new fasteners in it, even go in the same hole. It's not going to be the same bond, but and then fill it up with silicone, right? A sound shingle that doesn't have an exacerbated fastening hole that's filled up with silicone is not going to have the same weather shedding capability as just a sound shingle with a straight driven nail through it. Objectively, it's just not possible, right? Furthermore, I guess for added context, when roofers are installing shingles on a very steep slope, oftentimes they'll use a roof jack system or a toe board, which is just a 2x6 with a nail driven through it directly into the shingle. And when they come down that slope, they'll remove the 2x6, remove the nail and take the 2x6 with them. If you've ever been on a roof before, a steep roof, you might oftentimes see little holes filled up with silicone. Well, that's where they have the toe board installed. It's recommended that you replace that shingle altogether and don't just fill up the hole with some silicone, because a lot of times roof leaks start from those holes, because that silicone or roof caulk or whatever that you fill that hole up with, that nail hole up with, is going to fail, all right? So they recommend, I can send you the technical data sheets on this, they recommend just replacing the shingle altogether. Same thing with something like this. When you remove that fastener and try to fill it up with some silicone, it's not going to have the same weather shading capability as it did before the loss, objectively. Okay, so that turtle vent, or that vent right there, essentially, because the shingle's not repairable, means that the whole slope's going to have to get replaced. That's woven. This whole front is woven. You've got ridges and you've got hips, right? So then the underlayment requirement comes into play, okay? Because when we remove shingles or when we're doing re-roofing, we have to go all the way down to the deck. That means that we're going to have to take up the underlayment. So underlayment builders code requirements and manufacturer technical data sheets state that you need to lap ridges and eaves by 4 to 6 inches. Okay, I can also send you the technical data sheets from manufacturers that state this. Builders code R903.1 general. Paraphrasing, you got to go by the manufacturer instructions. And Builder's Code R902.1, I believe, same thing. You got to go by the manufacturer instructions when installing their products to make sure that the product actually works as it's designed. So when we replace this slope, we got to remove these ridge shingles here and overlap by 4 inches. That means taking the fasteners up from this first row of shingles here and this first row of shingles here. Despite the fact that this is a shingle over style vent, it doesn't go all the way to the end, right? So you still have underlayment underneath this ridge shingle right here, which means that those fasteners are going to have to come up. When you remove those fasteners, you damage the shingle, objectively not in the same condition it was before the loss. And then to replace that shingle, you got to go 3 layers down, or 2 layers down, I'm sorry. Remove that bonding strip and just rip all those fasteners out. Because of all the context that I provided, the insured is claiming that you're going to have to replace this whole roof, or rather, in order not to violate the principle of indemnification to conduct these repairs, even if you don't agree with what the insured is claiming, hail damage to the shingle, that's objectively damaged and already covered. That might be covered. That might be covered. I'm sorry, that is covered. In order to not violate the principle of indemnification, this whole roof is going to have to be replaced for the reasons that I've stated. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd love to provide further context to the claims being made by the insured. Thank you.